Hello, my background is as a chartered financial planner, a few years ago. But I used to hear the expression, my business is my pension. And you still get people who, while the business might not be all they've got for their pension, it still might be a substantial element. So I just thought it'd be worth looking at some interesting information. The first thing is you've effectively got two choices, I suppose, which is you can take money out of your business in a tax efficient way and then reinvest it for your future. And if you do that, then you'll go into some sort of fund in some sort of market or some sort of investment. And what investments tend to do is they tend to go up and down like that. So therefore, it's risky in the sense that if you go in at the top and come out at the bottom, you lose money. So then what you need to do is to make sure that when you do that sort of investment, you diversify. Because what then tends to happen is that some of the things you're invested in are going up, while some of the things you're invested in are going down, and then vice versa. So you still get the same sort of long-term trend to grow your money, but you're cancelling out the risks because at any given time, some of your investments will be high and some of them will be low. And the other thing is, if you're contributing on a regular basis to something like a pension plan, for example, then what happens is you buy some of your investments when they're expensive and some when they're cheap. And that tends to average out. And again, that tends to reduce the risk of your investment. So then you'll hear people say, yeah, but if you go into the market, you get corrections, you get crashes, bear markets, etc. So I was reading a book called Unshakable by Tony Robbins. This refers to the American market, but I think it's very similar in most major markets. Japan might be an exception, but most major markets. So you tend to get what's called a correction, which is when the market drops 10%. And obviously that's scary if you've got money in the market. And that tends to happen most years in most markets. However, 3/4 of the years, certainly in the American market, and probably very similar in most other major markets, 3/4 of the time, although you might get this 10% drop during the year, the market will actually be up over the course of the year. And these corrections tend to even themselves out. They tend to recover very quickly. 1 to 2 months, you tend to find that the market's back to where it was before the 10% correction. Less frequently, you get what's called a bear market, which is when the market goes down more than that, goes down by 20% or more. And that tends to happen every 3 to 5 years. But again, that tends to recover fairly quickly. Anything from sort of 0 to 2 years, you get the recovery. So again, if you're investing reasonably long term, these corrections and bear markets, you'll see them out. And actually, when the market falls, it's a good time to invest. So then your alternative is to say, well, I'll leave the money in my business and I'll grow my business. And if you do that, you need to be aware of this 4% rule. The 4% rule says that whatever income you want to take, you need a fund whereby you don't take more than 4% out of it. Because if you take more than 4% out each year, you tend to deplete it, or there's a risk you deplete it. So if you took that argument on board, if you wanted, say, an income of 40,000 when you decide to retire or to, sell your business, you'd need a business. You'd need to be able to sell your business for $1 million. So the 4%, 40,000 is 4% of $1 million. And that's easier said than done because, again, if you get bad times in the market here, you'll probably tend to find it's not a good time to be selling a business either. And certainly in recent times, with COVID, etc., you wouldn't have wanted to be selling. Some businesses have done well, but you wouldn't want to be selling a wide variety of businesses that haven't done well in these times. So again, it depends on, is it a good time to sell your business? Can you readily find a buyer? And will you come out with $1 million, after all the charges and costs and taxes, etc.? So that's your choice, really. So really, the rational thing to do is to both grow your business, but also extract profit out of it regularly to supplement your other savings and investments. And that leads me on to my next point, which is that if you do want to grow your business and make it, £1 million or $1 million or more, then you need to be aware of two key concepts. One is called the 6-step profit formula. And the 6-step profit formula says that there are 6 key numbers that you concentrate on. And if you can make a 10% increase in each of those 6 key numbers, you will exponentially grow your business. You'll double it every time, basically. So if you can make 10% a year in 6 key numbers, you can see you can get massive growth. even 5% would actually give you massive growth year on year. So the 6-step profit formula are the 6 key numbers to focus on. And the other argument you need to be aware of is what's called the 6-cylinder business. Now, this is a colleague of mine in America called Frank Momolo, M-U-M-M-O-L-O, Frank Momolo. And he pioneered the concept of a 6-cylinder business. And what this means is that if you do want to sell your business, then it has to have all of 6 different cylinders running properly for it to be something that someone would want to buy. And the 6 cylinders are operations, which is what most people tend to be good at because they set up in business doing something they're good at. But they need to understand their finances and make sure everything is on a sound financial footing. So that means you need to understand things like gross and net margin, debtor and creditor turnover periods, the difference between cash flow and profit, etc. You need to understand sales and marketing. Everyone thinks they can do their own sales and marketing, but they probably would be better paying someone who knows what they're doing to do it. You need to either outsource or employ people and build teams. Again, so that's people. So that's the 4th cylinder. The 5th cylinder, which is a big one that's lacking in a lot of cases, is you need to take time out of your business to work on your business rather than in your business, to develop strategies and plans. So strategies and plans is the 5th cylinder, and that means you need to find time to work on your business rather than being busy working in the business. What a recent book I read referred to, the 4 Disciplines of Execution, the book was referred to as the whirlwind, which is where you're working in your business and you haven't got time to step outside and formulate strategies. And then the other really key thing you need is systems, because unless you've got systems in place, the business can't run if you're not there. And if the business can't run if you're not there, then basically no one's going to want to buy that business off you. So there you have it, really. What you really need to be doing, any business owner needs to be doing, is growing their business following these 2 principles here, the 6-step profit formula and the 6-cylinder business engine. But also you need to be taking money out of the business in the most tax efficient way possible. So that could be pensions, it could be VCTs, enterprise investment schemes, other options. So the most efficient way possible. And then when you do invest the money, you need to be aware that there are risks in the market, but the risks shouldn't put you off, because generally when markets fall, they recover reasonably quickly. And actually, when they fall, it's a good buying opportunity. And you need to diversify. You need advice, really, from an advisor. So you need to diversify in terms of countries, in terms of sectors, in terms of styles of investments. So the more diversified your portfolio is, up to a certain limit, but the more diversified, the better, because you'll still get the growth, but you'll get the risks averaging out between all the different investment types that you've got. I hope you found that useful and interesting. Thanks very much for watching.